Welcome to yet another exciting episode of your program, of your favorite program, Sports Business with Veronica, where we talk nothing but the business transactions that take place in football, netball, volleyball, be it tennis, all things sport. We just want to dissect the figures and understand what goes on with the calculators. So joining me today is a renowned former player and coach, Joel Lupahla. Formerly Dynamos, he's now with Simba. Welcome to the program, Coach.
Thank you, Mrs. Vero. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. Getting down to business, Coach.
Yes.
Kindly take us through in brief, your biography. Who is Joe and how did your professional football journey start? Yakatangira kopi.
Mine is a long story, but I'll try to make it brief. My name is Joel Lupahla, coming all the way from Cholocho, born and bred in Cholocho. I had my primary school in Losike in Bulawayo from grade 1 to grade 7. Then I went to Fort High School, Form 1 up to Form 4. Then after that, I went back to Cholocho because I used to stay with my grandfather in Bulawayo. But every time we close school, the last day of the closing school, I'll board the bus going to Cholocho. That's where my parents stayed. So after completing my education, I went to Cholocho. That's where I stayed because the plan was for me to go to South Africa. You know, most of the times, and most of the boys in Cholocho, we had that thing. The moment I finish school, I want to go to South Africa and make sure that I work for my parents. So that was my plan. So when I finished school, I went to Cholocho. I stayed there for a few months. Then I got a Malay Chakai. I went to South Africa. Things did not work out well because I didn't have a passport there. So I think the first day that I arrived there, I was unlucky to have been deported that same day that I arrived. So when I came back, I had only two things that I had in my life. It was either I play football or I go to South Africa. So when I went to South Africa, things did not work well for me. Then when I came back now, I just said to myself, I have to make it work through football. But I had no plan. I didn't know how I'm going to make it work. So I went to Cholocho. There was a club there called Madonna FC that I was playing for, local team. So I played there. I didn't even know what's going to happen until Martin Danlov came to Cholocho. He was on his business trip selling cabbages to the market there. Then there was an Independence Cup that was being sponsored by the late King Matema. So he attended that game and he saw me play. That's when he went to speak to the late Raman Gumbo and the late Enes Mapepe. Told them that I saw a boy there in Cholocho. You have to go and fetch that boy before other clubs can poach him. So they came to me. By then I was still young. I didn't have that confidence, to say from Cholocho to Islanders. I went to Islanders to train. I trained only 2 days. I ran away because seeing the stars that you only see on TV and that you hear about on radio and read on the newspapers, that confidence was not there. So I ran away. I went back. Then I came back now playing for Zimbabwe Saints because at home I grew up in Nyulo Bengola. I stayed opposite to Ronald Span. He knew that I was a good player. He's the one who said, no, let's go to Zimbabwe Saints and train there. Let's see if the guys would be interested. And by then the coach was Lovejoy Mkatsi and also Bongani Mafu, the brother to Ronald Span. So it was easier for me because these are the guys that I knew. So I went there, I trained and I was signed. Then I remember playing my first game for Zimbabwe Saints versus Wange FC, and I scored on that game. I only played for 32 minutes because I got tired. Papafield Stadium was difficult for us. So this is how my footballing career came about. So I think I played only 3-4 months at Zimbabwe Saints. Islanders then resigned me back to their club. That was 99-2000.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. That's how my career began.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now you are a young boy who grew up in Cholocho.
Yes.
Uhlala labo mkhulu.
Yeah.
And now you sign as a professional footballer. I just want to understand the first signing. Kwakule mali, kwahamba njani, and if there was money, how much was it and what did you use it for?
Okay. At Zimbabwe sense, I don't even remember if I was signed for money. I didn't care. Then, coming from Cholocho to Zimbabwe sense, I didn't even care about money. I didn't even know if there was money or there was no money. For me, the excitement was just too much. The first time I started, to stop and realize that there is money, it was when I was signed at Islanders, and I was given, I think it was $2,000 by then, and that money I used to put Jurao at home because kumba kwakusina Jurao, and these things when you're growing up, the other kids will be laughing at you. Kumba kuna Jurao, kuna hedge and stuff like that. So it used to rub me the wrong way.
Yes.
So the first thing that I did with my money, I put Jurao at home. And every time when I pass home, because now I stay in my own home,
Yes.
when I pass there, I'm always proud, to see that Jurao and say, this was my first money
Yes.
that I did. And of course, the house belonged to my grandmother. So I'm always proud seeing the home, seeing that this is what I did. And then now as a young player, there are other things that we make mistakes, when we get money. For me, I had love for cars. Most of my money that I got, I used to change cars. I would change cars until somebody then spoke to me and said, that was gift band.
Yes.
Yeah, he sat me down and he said to me, Joe, nobody cares about your cars. You can drive as many cars as you want, but the most important thing, son, is for you to make sure that when you come out in the morning, you look back and you say, this is my house that I'm coming out of. Get into your own car. So maybe you have gone it the wrong way, starting with cars. Why not have your own house? Because I think by then I had 3 or 4 cars, but I was staying at home with my sisters, with my parents, with my aunts. So we had to sit down, myself and Zenzo, because then we had gotten an opportunity to go and play in Europe.
Yes.
So we said, no, this thing of buying cars when you don't have homes, look, our parents, how they suffer.
Yes.
Because in the morning, 6 o'clock, they need to wake you up, they need to clean the house and stuff like that. So we bought our first homes, and it felt very good, knowing that I've got my own house that I can call my own home. The investment started, from that gift set me down and spoke to me about the fast life that we were trying to live. Sometimes you want to impress people, you want to be seen, but at the end of the day, because now I'm grown, you look back and you realize that I'm lucky I had somebody who managed to talk to me about these things.
Okay. So when Mr. Banda set you down, for how many years had you played professional football, and which year did you then buy your first property?
Because we went to Cyprus 2000. It was in April May 2000. Then we worked for 6 months until December. So when I came back, I bought a BMW, I bought a Toyota Sentra, I bought a Toyota Corolla. Zenzo did the same because we grew up, we were very close, like brothers. Up until today, we like brothers. Most of the things that he does is what I do also. If he's going to buy a house, we always say, no, let's buy houses. This is what we used to do. So up until December, we had nothing, but we were getting decent money. When we were in Europe, it was not too much, it was not much, but it was decent money, enough for me to be able to buy a house. So up until December, we had not bought homes. So when I came home, that's when Mr. Panda spoke to me. Then we sat down with the and said, no, this thing. So when we come back April, that was 2001, when we come back, let's try and look for homes. that's when I bought my house. That was in May 2001. I think after a year that I'd been in Europe, I managed to buy a 3-roomed corner stand for myself because then I was still single. So I thought, no, this one is good for me and my friends. They can come here, you can try and do all these things. You know, when you're young, you think about parties in my house and stuff like that. But that was the first time that me and Zenzo bought property.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe do other investment while you were still a player.
I think after I got my property, that's when I realized that I have my property and my cars, but my parents are still staying in Linkagogo. And for me, my next investment was to make sure that I buy the parents their own house. We sat again with Zenzo. We said no, when we go back now, because we used to go for 6 months and come back. So we said next time when we come back, let's try and purchase homes for our parents. And this is what we did. When we came back, Zenzo bought Mama a house. I bought my parents also a house. They didn't even know about these things. We went and bought the homes, and then I came back and took my parents. We passed through the house, and I was saying, what do you think of this house? And they said, it's very nice because seven-roomed house, walled and gated. Then I said, how would you feel if I told you that it's yours? You know, and they couldn't believe it when I gave them the keys, that this house belongs to you.
At around what age were you at that time?
I was 21. Yeah, I was 21, and this is the same thing that we did with Zenzo's mom, because his mom was like my mom.
Yes.
And my parents are like his parents. So we did the same thing. He bought mom house also, because she was staying in Makoko. So we had to relocate them. My mom was staying with my grand. We had to relocate them to their own homes. And I think this is what, opened doors for us. And it's one of the things that I take pride in, that I managed to house my parents.
Yes.
I managed also to get them a beautiful village in Cholocho. We had to extend. They are very comfortable. They're very comfortable. And it's through football that we have managed to do these things.
Okay, and as of now, life after being a player, you are now a coach.
Yes.
How many properties do you have to your name, and do you have any businesses or other investments that you have?
For me, the idea was I don't want to invest in things that I don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've seen people lose money investing in wrong investments, because somebody will have said, no, this thing has got money, then you end up getting bent.
Yes.
So for me, it was to have something that I understand, and I'm still trying to make sure that I sort myself out, because I want to do football.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got my plans that in Cholocho I want to build a school for football, so that I can help these kids that are in the same predicament that I was in when I was found by the legend Martino. But to answer your question, I will say I'm very comfortable. I have my homes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that my kids, even if I'm not here, they're not going to be fighting. They're going to be living comfortable. And also, I do business that maybe other people might not even understand that is business. Yes. I've got my dogs.
Okay.
My Rottweilers.
Yes.
At home. I think it's a good business that I want to improve going forward. Because when you look at it, it's got good money, but I haven't put a lot of energy into it because I'm always away with work. But this is one of the businesses that I want to make sure that I invest my money in. But having said that, it's never easy as a footballer, transforming from being a footballer to being a coach. You need to have that comfort to say, I've got a home. When you've got a home, things are always easier. You are never desperate, because I've seen some of my colleagues. Sometimes we are desperate because we are in need.
Yes.
And when you are in need, it becomes difficult to make good decisions. But when you are comfortable, you make these decisions that are always coming from your heart. You are never under pressure.
Okay.
Yes.
And taking you back to the time when you went international, you broke international. You played for Cyprus. Maybe if you can give us maybe which other nations you played for. And my big question is, during that time, did you have an agent?
For us going to Cyprus, it was through Raman Kumbu because he had played there in Cyprus before. So he was our coach at Highlanders. Then the guys from Cyprus, they called him. They said, we need 2 strikers here. There was Zenzo and Walter. Chuma was supposed to travel with Zenzo because then I think there were 2 or 3 strikers on the land. But then Walter had him injured when we were playing in the under-23s. So in the end, Raman said, no, since we can go with Joe, let's see, let you guys go and try there. And when we went there, they were very happy with both of us. This is how we broke into Europe. We didn't have an agent. I never had an agent. I played my whole career. I didn't have an agent. It was just, there were people that were just coming to help me. Seeing, sometimes when you're a good player, you always have these people that come to help you. So I went to Cyprus through Raman Kumbu. Then I went to join Supersport after Cyprus through Caetano Temple because he was playing for Supersport.
Yes.
So he spoke to Peter and said, there is this good boy, a good player that I think we can lure from Europe to come and play for us. So Peter spoke to me through Caetano. That's how I went to Supersport. And for me to go to Platinum Stars, Owen Takama has always been a big fan of me. So when I was at Supersport, my work permit was not ready. When it came, they had already filled the spot in foreigners. So I had to be loaned to someone, and Takama took me on loan. It was still Silver Stars. I played for 6 months there. Then I went back to Supersport for 2 years. After my contract expired, I went to play for Platinum Star without an agent.
Okay. And looking back at your career, you were fortunate enough to come across Mr. Banda, who set you down, and he gave you light. Wona mfana lapha, you are like, no one cares about your cars and stuff.
Yeah.
But do you feel that enough has been done by whether the clubs or the agents or the football stakeholders in terms of maybe trying to enlighten our footballers on how best to invest with this little money that they get in football?
Yeah, I think as former footballers, we have a big task at hand to educate these young boys. Because what puts us off most of these times is when you try to speak to these young boys, the way they speak to you. Sometimes I've heard some, of course they haven't said that to me, but some of the former players have told me that I tried to talk to Ningi and Ningi, but umfana wamphendula wathi mdala, isikhathi sakho sadlula, it's my time now, ngiyekela impilo yami, just let me live my life. And it puts us off when I try to give you an advice and then you tell me that no, your time passed, this is my time now.
Yeah.
But yes, it's your time. We are not talking about your time, because when Mr. Banda spoke to me, he did not speak to me as if it was, he spoke to me to say, Joe, these things will come and pass. So we must understand as footballers, current footballers now, that the status of being stars will come to pass. So you need to prepare for.
What are some of the major mistakes that players make?
On this one, I think I can say people should understand where they're coming from. We come from different backgrounds. You understand? When we go into a club, we are 30 players that are coming from different backgrounds. Some are coming from a well-up family. The way they live their life, the way they behave when we are, at the club is different. So you must understand where you're coming from. You find that you come from a poor family, but you have been given an opportunity, you have been given a platform to change the life of your parents, the life of your relatives, but then we want to behave the same way like somebody who's coming from a well-up family, and that's one of the things that sidesteps us. Then the second, we must be able to contain the what I can say. We must be able to contain what I can say, the attention.
Yes, the fame that comes with
Attention
being a
kills a
professional.
lot of young boys. The attention that we get from the fans, it kills these young boys. I'm speaking from experience. We used to get a lot of attention, but now, because I'm old, we no longer get that attention. But the good thing is everything was sorted from a young age. But these young boys, the attention that they get, sometimes it sidesteps them, sometimes it goes into their head, and they end up not thinking. And in the end, you cannot give advice to such players. You try to talk to them, they will think maybe you're being jealous, that they are well known out there. Your star is diminished, so it becomes easy, difficult, even for the former players to try and help them. Most of them, they've given up, because you talk to a player who's done that other thing this year, then we take a step backwards towards here, then they get lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
And during your time as a player, when you still played for Highlanders, do you feel ukuthi, you were getting enough remuneration that allowed you maybe to invest if you had known issues of investment at that time? And what have you seen changing over the years up to the clubs that we have now? Are players still getting enough?
Then I won't say it was a lot of money. We were not getting a lot of money, but the good thing that we had a good manager. He challenged us a lot. He made sure that we got married when we were still young, because he said that if you get married, you have direction, because you spend a lot of money because you guys are not married. So he pushed a lot of us into marriages when we were still young, and it worked for some. It did not work for some. For some of us, but looking at the crop that I played with, I can tell you now that 3/4, if not all of those players, they have homes through the manager.
And also looking at our players, how best do you feel that maybe they should package themselves as a complete product that can lure even ma-deals ema-endorsements, because we don't see much of that here. Tinongoziva kuti kuna player ningi, like especially Kama, we saw Kama last season achita ma-brand ambassador we certain corporates. How do you think kuti our players can package themselves so that they can lure ma-deals akafanana neiwaya ema-ambassador roles?
First, I think it's discipline. There is no company that wants to get into bed
On experience, and that would take us through the time that you joined Dynamos, and how beneficial was it for you being with Dynamos, and how did it even help you in your next move to Simba?
Yeah, Dynamos, Highlanders, these are the powerhouses of Zimbabwean football, with a lot of history behind them. Obviously, if you work at Dynamos, you'll be recognized. If you work at Dynamos, at Highlanders, you'll be seen. So for me, joining Dynamos I knew it was going to be a big step for me. It was going to be a good step in the right direction. The intention was to come, show the people of Dynamo what I can do, and then after that it was up to them to say, coach, we have seen what you can do, this is what we want to do. But the only problem that made me leave, it's not a problem, but this is what I had already spelled to the head coach before, when I was joining, and even to the management, that I'm doing my courses in Tanzania. They are very expensive, and for next season I want to be my own man. I won't want to assist again. I want to stand and make mistakes so that I can grow, so that I can learn. So this is the only reason why I left Dynamos, because I wanted to be my own man. It's not like there was a problem or anything. I appreciate what they did for me, but it was spelled from the time I joined that I'm coming, but next season I want to be my own man. And I understood the head coach, Mr. Joel. I was not going to come there and then start talking to the people that I want to be head coach. Zoita, like I'm going to be Neura, my head coach. But I spoke to him first.
Yes.
He knew my mind, he knew my plans. So it also helped me, attracting Simba. It's not easy. It's a big call for them to say, okay, coach, you come and work with us, the former champions, the reigning champions. It's not easy for a championship winning team to just plug somebody and say, you come and work with us. But there is something that they saw, and also there is something that I saw from them. It's a relationship that started a long time ago. Whilst they were still in Division 1, I was with Golden Eagles. They marveled at how my team played, my former team, Golden Eagles, and it's a relationship that was being cultivated and growing. And when the opportunity was there for me and Simba to work together, I took it.
Okay.
Yes.
And during your playing times at Highlanders and even at Zimbabwe Saints, were there challenges of maybe salaries not coming, or maybe winning bonuses coming late and stuff? If there were those issues during that time, how did you as players handle them?
I think then we didn't care much about money. I'll be frank with you. Yes, we needed money. We played for money. But they will tell us that the money will come, just go and play football. Then we never used to strike. At Zimbabwe, since I played, we never strike. There was no money. We never striked. They will say, boys, Marikuya, and just go and play. At Highlanders, we had one of the best executives then, with the late James Mangwana. He used to pay from his own pocket sometimes. So we didn't want to let him down. We didn't strike. There was not even one day where we said, nah, nothing. Lamtan just train because of this nigga's animal. And besides the crop that I had, we respected a lot our captain, Tulambia. He said, guys, we are going to play, we just going to play. We didn't have such problem. But I understand now that the times have moved. That was then. Now the players, they need the money, but it's also important that the players and the management can have that rapport when there is a good understanding between the two, so that even when the executive says, we'll give you the money, then the boys, they know for sure that no, the money, if they say they'll give the money, they will give. It doesn't need, because the economy sometimes can be difficult for the clubs, but we need to have that understanding between the club and the players, the honesty actually, because I believe that these players, if you're honest with them, they will just go and play. But if you say, I'll give you the money tomorrow, and then tomorrow you are not available, that's where all these problems start. But if you say, boys, we are sorting your money, we cannot promise that tomorrow, but we know that we are going to deliver. And then when the money is available, you deliver. It makes things easy.
Okay. And during that time, most of the clubs, they had sponsors, they had partners, and you knew for certain that money may delay, but it is definitely going to come. But what is it that you have seen changing over the years to an extent that we have some clubs running without proper sponsors, without trusted sources of income?
Like I said, I think the economy then and the economy now, there is a big difference. There's a big difference. Then things used to be okay, but for now you can see even companies are struggling. The companies that are supposed to be sponsoring us are struggling. So I think that is where the biggest problem has come. The companies that are supposed to be sponsoring football, they are also going through the challenges. So I think it's just a matter of people understanding each other, because it's not easy for everybody. It's not easy for the company. It's not easy for individuals.
Okay. And as someone who did a bit of justice in terms of investment when you were still a player, ubaba lo mama omkhulu, are they still alive?
Yeah, they're still alive.
And when you bought them these properties, and even now, when you have conversations around these stories, what is it that they usually say about whatever you did for them during that time?
For my parents, they are grateful. I've never behaved like I own those properties. When he goes around, people say, your son, your son. So there's so much pride, and then he will always let them know what I did for them. He will always say, I'm living comfortable because of my son. Look how I'm dressed because of my son. So I take pride in that. At least my parents are still alive. To see all these things, and it's through their support. Of course, my father didn't want me to play football, but at the end of the day, he knew that this is my passion. They ended up supporting me, so it's the pride that I see in them that I take into heart.
Okay. And with your father not wanting you to play football, when was his turning point to then start supporting you? What is it that had happened for him to have a turnaround?
I had scored versus Dynamos in the party first year celebrations, national sports, and he got to work. He didn't even know that I had gone to Arawe to play. So he got to work. His colleagues, they took out the newspaper and showed him. Look, is this your son? And that thing, and I think from there, because of his colleagues, that they were very happy. A lot of them were supporting Highlanders, some of them were supporting Dynamos. So it made him turn, because there were a lot of praises that will come every time we play. The newspaper will be there for him to on Monday when he gets to work. So in the end, he had to support, because he realized that my son is really good at this.
Okay. And maybe if you could be asked to, in brief, maybe give advice to the rising players in terms of how they can be able to maybe have my investments equity later in future. These are going to be survival platforms for them. What can you say?
I can say to the young boys, advice can come from anybody. It doesn't have to come from your relatives, from your father. Look, my turning point came from Gifty Panda, because he liked me he always saw me as his boy. Advice can come from any form, so they should take advice as it comes. Sometimes advice comes with criticism. There is no advice that does not criticize how you behave or how you live in your life. Advice always criticizes, because you have to change from what you are doing. So if they are being given advice, in a little bit of criticism, they should grasp, take that, and not react, but take that and make sure that they put it into use.
Okay. And is there a stage Kuti, you feel Kuti, at this stage player so and so should actually maybe be playing for exposure, playing for them to gain recognition and maybe earn lucrative moves, not necessarily looking at money?
I think the moment you start playing for a senior team, you're ready to be doing all those things. When you're playing for the juniors, yeah, of course, you are trying to break into the senior team. But the moment you play for the senior team, there is no longer a young boy or an old boy. So the moment you break into the first team, I think these are the things that you should be looking at. Because we broke into the first team of Highlanders when I was not even 20.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, I remember one day I was talking with Zenzo, and I was saying, I've got my house. I'm only 20. These things, there's no age.
Yeah.
But the moment now you're playing, they are young boys. We see all princes of Highlanders. He's still not even 20.
Yeah.
He can still buy a house, because now he's playing for the first team.
Yes.
And he should be looking at, these things that we're talking about, to break into the other leagues of Zimbabwe. But like also we are seeing our league is getting better and better.
Yes.
I think we are faced with good times that are rolling up. Yeah.
And then maybe lastly, what are some of the painful sacrifices that you had to make during your career?
I remember I was at Sheffield United. I was on trial there soon after 2004, where I think I had a good time. AFCON. We went there. I was supposed to be signed because I had impressed Neil Warnock, and he had said to me on Tuesday, "We're going to sign me." And then we had a game here, Zimbabwe versus Nigeria, the game that we lost 3-0. I didn't want to come because I knew that if I come, I would jeopardize my chances of signing, because he had said on Tuesday we are signing. And I already told Neil Warnock when they sent the letter, they're like, "No, I don't want to come. I don't want to go there because I need to make sure that at least I cement my place, my position." But the country needed me. I didn't want to fail them. I didn't want to be seen as Wavi's national team and in Wayala. So I remember leaving on a Wednesday, coming here with hope that on Tuesday, they said on Tuesday we'll send the ticket so that you fly back. And on Wednesday when I left, there is another player that went there. He trialed, he impressed, he was signed whilst I was here with the national team. And when we finished playing, tried to contact those guys, and they were like, "No, we are sorry, we've already filled the position." And for me, it's something that I don't even talk about. I'm not bitter. I'm glad that also my country gave me the spotlight, to play for the national team. It's an opportunity that was missed, but I think I sacrificed for my national team. I sacrificed a career that could have, gone. I don't know how it could have panned out, but it's some of those things that I can say I did sacrifice. But for me, I still think it was for a good cause.
Well, I think you had the coach and the renowned former player on how you managed to own a home at barely the age of 21. And I think there's so much that he could share with the rising crop of players. So it's up to you guys to take the advice or you perish. Thank you for now. Meet us next week, same day, same time.